You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what really gets my goat?
Episode 114.
Episode 114, bitch.
You know what really grinds my fucking gears?
Hold on, we have to do the intro.
Okay, go.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Turn up this podcast.
I'm in this for the money and the pussy, and they're both falling off the trees.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 114 of the Reasonable Doubt Podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Eric C. Griff.
And Chicka Jane.
Anyways,
money.
what grinds your gears? What gets your goat? What activates your
If you
almonds,
go to a restaurant, it activates your almonds. If you go to a restaurant,
and you're a bitch.
why you fucking dick? If you're not,
I don't know if you can tell.
when I go out to a fucking restaurant, I'm going out to have a good time.
Yeah, I show up happy because I get to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, I'm like sick. I'm going out to a restaurant with the person I love. Don't fucking come if you're angry. Why are you so fucking angry?
I don't know if you can tell. Christians come straight from work.
Yeah, fresh out of fucking work.
Fresh
and I had
out of work.
A dirty old hag that I had to serve today.
You know what'll make you feel better?
What?
The Reasonable Doubt Podcast.
It does every time. I'm trying to swear less.
Yeah, you swore like 7 times.
Have
already.
I? It's
Yeah.
because I'm
We're like
grumpy about
30
this old lady.
seconds in. That's fine. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to swear less. I'm trying to withhold, not just drop fucks constantly. You
Yeah,
know?
one day this podcast will be mature. We'll be like Lex Friedman.
Yeah, I think it'll be clean and mature. I actually think we're slowly moving towards
We're
it.
moving towards a more serious podcast, which is what none of you listen for.
Yeah. slowly.
Before we were wildly uninformed, but we were funny, and we're gonna drop the funny.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna be wildly.
We're never gonna drop the
We're
funny.
never gonna drop.
I don't think we can. I can't turn it off.
No, I'm a walking, talking,
Funny machine.
tobacco spitting, funny guy.
Funny
shooting
machine.
from the hip.
Pow, pow, like a cowboy.
Pow, pow, pow.
Yo, our cams keep going back and forth from yellow.
Oh, maybe it's the lighting in here.
I don't know.
Maybe it's that thing, changing colors. It's fucking with it.
Oh my god, it is.
Nice. We got mood lighting in this bitch.
Oh yeah, that's totally what it is. Look, when it goes to purple, purple and blue, it freaks it out. Let's see. Oh yeah, there. Oh look.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Get out of here, you sexy little anime girl.
Sexy anime ladies.
Yeah. Fucking.
That was a gift. I don't buy anime ladies.
Yes, he does.
No, I don't.
Look at that.
That's a gift, and I appreciate it because it's
That
got
is-
titties on it.
It does have titties.
It's Catherine from the game Catherine. If anyone's interested in wondering what it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You want to see?
Yeah.
people
Can you
want-
bring it over, or is the cord long? No, I don't know if the cord. Can you see that?
Yeah, you can. You can't see it very well.
No.
Yeah, I'm turning you off. Oh wait. Let's just go. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
there we go.
You
She's
really
nice
see-
and clean.
You can really see the fingerprints on her.
Can you see her?
Not really. Anyways, if you're just listening, that was probably an awful segment. I
Yeah,
apologize.
that portion of the show.
That
must
portion of
have
the
been
show
just torture.
If you haven't turned it off, how are you doing? How's everyone doing
Yeah.
today? The multi-million-dollar studio back in action.
Yeah. Okay. So you had a rough go. Your building. Wow.
Yeah. Well,
They
no, not my
like-
building. The building that the studio's in.
Yeah,
that we
in
lease.
Nevada.
In Nevada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they like to take their time with renos.
They really do. The studio caught fire. Because I uploaded a really funny episode and the servers couldn't handle it.
It caught fire. And then it flooded.
And then it flooded, which, if they happened at the same time, would have worked out great. But unfortunately, there was about 3 months in between.
There was so much pooping happening because we were laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And it clogged the
A
toilets.
lot of
and
people
flooded.
don't realize this because you can only see and hear us. You can't smell
We're
us.
both on toilets.
Yeah, we're on toilets, and I have to edit out all the farts.
Yeah, it's
because
constant.
we're just constantly flinging poos.
It's poo all the time.
Which is, it's important to my art.
Yeah, no, I
find
agree.
like it's-
It helps me.
Yeah,
and it's really healthy. Do you know what? Okay, real
I'm
fact.
spewing shit out of both ends. So
Just bullshit
yeah,
both
it's
ways.
equilibrium.
Do you want to notice a weird little thing?
Yeah, what's the weird little thing?
Sniffing farts is actually good for heart health.
Wags, it works it out.
I know. I don't know what it is, but there's a chemical reaction that happens, and it is good for your heart health.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to smell farts.
Huh.
I don't think in mass, but it's a noticeable amount.
Those fart guys really had it figured out.
Yeah,
The guys
who
that like
did
to
that
get farted
research?
on.
You know.
Yeah, like some guy who really liked it. He was like,
I love when girls
out
fart
of
in my
college,
face.
and he's like, I gotta have this study.
Yeah.
this has to happen. I need
Well, it's
17
like-
college-age girls to
It's
fart
like
in my
when
mouth.
was it David Suzuki that did the little penis one?
No, what? I never heard of this.
He did the penis study. I'm pretty sure he was a big part of it.
David Suzuki.
I'm pretty sure he was a big part of it. Yeah, like where
That's so funny.
they did universities around the world to find average penis sizes in countries around the world.
Okay.
Congo says that their average is
7.
like 14 inches.
Okay.
There's no way.
No, you'd pass out
Yeah, like
every time you got a boner.
yeah.
That's so funny though. It's like my dick is so small. I have to know how small it is.
You know what's crazy is the U.S. has really tiny average penis size.
It's all because their penises aren't actually small, but they're so fat
Yeah, that
from the corn
there's not
that it
enough penis
subtracts.
showing.
If you want to make your dick bigger, the only thing that works is
Lose
losing weight.
weight. Yeah, lose weight. Get ripped.
That's the only way to make
Yeah,
your
the
dick bigger.
biggest your dick will ever be is when you're ripped.
And you're just
you can
done
get
fucking.
surgery because so it comes in like if this is your body. How am I gonna do
Yeah.
this here? And your penis is like this.
Yeah.
When it goes under actually, and that's why the prostate's in the butthole because
Yeah,
it goes
it
it wraps around.
Yeah.
They can cut tendons inside by your rectum, and it'll actually release it so you get more length because it comes forward more.
Oh, I wouldn't want anybody cutting anything down there.
It's just at the very back of it to allow it to come forward more, and that's how you get like penis
I
enlargement
would
surgery
do that
for
but
lengthening.
Yeah, it
For
would.
thickening, do you know what they do for thickening?
They put like bladders in it.
No, they put fat, subcutaneous fat underneath the skin on your penis.
Jesus.
Isn't that gross? Why would you have sex
have
with that after?
fatty
It'd be
dick.
gross. You'd have fatty dick. And then your head, they can't do anything with the head, so then
Do you have a tiny
the
little
head of
penis
your
head?
penis looks much smaller all of a sudden.
Something tells me it would feel weird. To
It
you
would
as
not
well,
feel
right? It
great.
wouldn't feel right.
Yeah. And does that fat stay alive? I don't think that fat would stay alive, so then you'd have like dead fat
You
cells
could
in there.
introduce blood flow.
Can you I guess you can redirect blood flow to it. Yeah, okay, well, maybe.
It wouldn't be fair to the rest of the world if I did that.
No.
Just saying.
No.
I'd be
True
breaking
fact,
records.
Josh does have an extremely large penis.
Thank you.
I know this because Josh
We're
once...
naked around each other.
Yeah,
alive.
that's fair, yeah. There's that. And then Josh made a dildo of his penis.
Yeah.
The mold. And me and one of my buddies, who is a homosexual man, it was sitting out in the house, and he comes over and he picks it up, and I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "That's a big dick." And then you walked in, and we're like, "Yo, what are you guys doing? Playing with the mold of my dick?" And we're like, "What? What are you doing, leaving it out?"
Well, I forgot I did that.
Yeah, you left it out in the living room, and we were
was
like,
fucking
"What the
living."
fuck?"
It was like they sell it. It's called Clone-A-Willy.
Clone-A-Willy, yeah.
And you gotta like mix up a mold in a tube and
For
then
the record,
shove your penis up.
Clone-A-Willy's, every guy goes to do it by themselves. That's what I did. I went to do it by myself. You need
two people.
You need your significant other there with you doing it.
You have to be hard the second you start mixing it.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be
Because it hardens, the mold hardens like that.
like,
It's like boom,
that.
done.
So you have to be at full mast, and there is nothing sexy about mixing mold powder.
yeah, so you're like losing it.
You're losing it, and you're like, well, the whole thing of this is to immortalize my penis.
Yeah.
It can't be like halfway there.
Yeah.
So the first one I did, I mixed it, got myself all ready, and then just smashed a fully set mold on the tip of my penis.
That's what I did.
So
Yeah.
I had to go get a second one because I was committed to this bit. But the whole thing I wanted to do is I wanted to mount it like taxidermy and have it like on a piece of wood like in the living room.
That's you know.
It'd be like
Apparently, you can do
the
them with
hammer.
Apparently, you can do them with your balls too.
Yeah, there's Clone-A-Willy XL.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
you can
got
put
a
your
ball
balls in it.
pouch.
Yeah, and you have the whole mold.
But like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
have big balls.
Yeah?
I have big-
donkey nuts.
I do have big balls. I've been told this multiple times.
Big balls,
I have
average
big balls.
penis.
I think it's like I thought it was average, but apparently it's above average. But I don't know
I don't know.
because you only hear from girls,
Yeah, and
you know. And I guess when you leave your mold of your penis, your one gay friend will tell you.
yeah, I feel like that was like the most honest answer I've ever had about my penis.
Yeah, he was
That
like,
was like-
"Yeah, that's a good dick."
Thank you.
Well, thanks very much.
If I was gay, I'd give you a hell of a time. Thank you, sir.
Oh, brutal. Brutal.
Yeah, the wild shit you leave around your house when you're like 21.
I know. Looking back, it's
Looking back,
fucking
like,
insane.
what the fuck?
Yeah, how did I live
There were like
that?
random people coming into the apartment all the time.
I know.
And
We
I
used
just
to
was
leave
like,
random shit
my
all over the
penis.
place. Yeah.
I just left that there.
Yeah, that's totally
I
fine.
also
there.
picked like a bright pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very noticeable.
Yeah, oh yeah, it doesn't hide.
Yeah.
But then it also like, you also put like a vibrator in it.
Oh, yeah, in the end, right?
Yeah, you can put
Yeah.
a vibrator in it.
Yeah.
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 fucking-
Yeah, it's like the little bullet one.
It's a bullet one. Yeah,
yeah.
that you smush in there.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I forgot I did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably still have it. I hope I do.
Oh, I hope don't ever get rid of it. That's hilarious. Because you'll have to just make another one.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And you got to compare when you become a dad.
Yeah, the
'Cause
science.
You gain 10%.
Yeah, it would like I'll have to write on them. Like they're like lab samples.
Pre-fatherhood.
Yeah, Josh,
Post-fatherhood.
like 2019.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Josh 2054 when I become
Yeah.
a father.
2054.
When I'm
Yeah.
57 years
Yep,
old.
that's when we start, you know?
That's well, yeah, your 30s and 40s are for having fun.
Yeah, you don't want to
You don't settle down till
way
you're 50.
later.
Yeah, way later.
Way later.
When I'm established as a man.
Yeah.
And I have
You know, okay, so it's crazy. Speaking of establishment,
Yeah.
I was going to start doing some volunteering and stuff.
because you don't have enough to do. I'm just saying, like, are you looking to fill
I
some
have
time?
eased up my schedule.
You have.
I've eased up my schedule.
So, and how's it feel?
It feels better. I've been taking time. I do have a Rocket League addiction. It turns out that for a long time, I was like, I don't play video games because video games are dumb.
You didn't play
then-
video games because you didn't.
Because I have a problem with them.
Oh, I see.
I realized that I don't play video games because I love playing video games.
Video games are fucking awesome, especially now. They're so good.
Oh, I like when I think back and I'm like, oh yeah, I had COD, and in like a couple weeks I logged 80 hours on Black Ops
That's
2 when it
full-time.
first came out. Yeah.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah, I know. I know. And it was like the same thing with Skyrim. I logged way too much time on Skyrim. I had like, I think when I finally got rid of my Skyrim and that PS3, I want to say I had what came out to the equivalent of like an entire month of playing
Yeah, it's
Skyrim.
a month of your life.
Like a full month
you
of my
played
life
Skyrim.
that I played Skyrim.
That's a rough
like no
spot
no
to hit.
sleeping, like just
600 hours or something like that?
Yeah, so it was
700 hours?
Yeah, and it was like, this is ridiculous.
I have 3,000 hours on Counter-Strike.
Do you really?
I do.
You had like a Counter-Strike addiction.
Yeah, I had a problem. I haven't played it in over 2 years now.
That's good.
But yeah, I have 3,000 hours.
Rocket League is my current one. I love Rocket. And like, okay, yesterday I was supposed to go. I was going out for dinner last night.
Yeah.
Before I came to see you, I was going out for dinner with my friend. So I got home, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just get changed and then I'll go. And I got changed, and I was like, just one game of Rocket League. And I played 2 games of Rocket League, and I was like, okay, I have to go. I gotta go.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, but it's like I just gotta get one in there. I just like
I'll do it like I'll get up in the morning, I'll do my routine. I gotta be at work at like 12, so I'll leave my place at 11:30, and I'll be all ready and good to go at like 5 after 11.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
I got time for one.
I got time for one for sure, maybe 2 if the first one goes
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Like if you're quick,
And then I'm
well,
like 4 minutes late for when I should be leaving for work, and
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through a game.
yeah, and you're like, well, I gotta finish.
I'll just walk quick.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I love
and
video
I get
games.
so excited when I score. Mm-hmm. Like, so I've gotten really good. So and I think I'm getting better faster than my experience is going up.
Yeah.
So like,
So now you're just dunking on kids?
I'm just dunking. So like, I'm playing games and the score will be 6-0, and I have 6 goals.
Yeah.
And like,
Are you
I'm
playing
playing
casual or
3v3.
competitive?
3v3 casual.
Oh, you got to get on competitive.
Is it good?
Yeah, well, that'll match you with people that are your skill level.
Okay, yeah, because the casual, like, I'm not joking. I'm literally playing like 3v3, and I'll go 6 points in a game.
Yeah.
And it's like 6-0 is the score, and I got all 6 points.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, I love this. And every
But it gets
time
boring
I
if
score,
it's
I'm
too
like,
easy. Well, Rocket League's fun because it's close to a sport.
Yeah.
Like, it works like a sport does.
Yes,
because
yeah,
it's soccer.
It's soccer with cars.
Yeah,
that
so
fly.
like all of a sudden, I'm gloating like I just scored an actual goal in real life.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting on the mic or I'm typing to people.
Yeah.
Like, get fucked, nerd.
Yeah.
You know?
I love
Fuck,
it.
It's my fucking net.
I also
Bitch.
am. It's funny when I first got the PC and you gave me the keyboard and stuff to play like PC games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm so clunky. Now I'm like, I hear myself. I can hear what my hands are doing while I'm playing Rocket League, and like, cause I toggle on and off the ball so I can like hit.
Yeah.
Cause I'll go around the perimeter hitting boost and not take my finger off the right
Yeah.
click. So. Or the
I can't
left
believe you
click.
play Rocket League with a mouse and keyboard.
Dude,
That's
I
psychotic.
love it. I'm addicted to it. Like, I'm not joking. I'm so fast. I'm like, like you can just hear my little fingers going. Like,
Yeah, it's funny when you
brutal.
play a game long enough, or like you figure out how to play like first person shooters or whatever.
Yeah.
It becomes like you're not
You don't even think.
You're not even thinking of the
Yeah.
buttons you're pressing. You just know
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, it is actually, it's crazy.
What else you been up to? What else is new in your world?
Well, I got back from Cuba. We talked about that,
Yeah,
right?
we talked about Cuba. You had a
Yeah,
good time.
Cuba's
Restarted the
fun.
revolution.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fun.
So the other thing, I want to start...
volunteering.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to start volunteering on boards and committees. Yeah, I'm like, actually, really, I had a really good conversation. I'm not going to say with who, but a local politician.
Yeah.
And I really want to start, like, getting involved with, like, local boards and committees. Just on stuff I care about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just
I'm
get
getting
involved in the
politically as
community in that way. You're what?
I'm getting involved politically as well.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm joining a political party in town.
Are you seriously?
Yeah, I am.
Who?
I won't say on the podcast.
Are you being serious?
I
now?
am being serious.
Okay,
yeah.
that's really cool because I'm thinking about doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I should probably get politically active. I think all about politics a lot,
Me too.
and I'm constantly like reading up of like political theories and stuff.
Yep.
And it interests me quite a bit. And I was like, maybe this will be a good way to learn more because I'll be talking with people that have been doing politics.
To like volunteer with them or whatever. That's
Yeah.
what I want to do.
Yeah, so like it'll be a good way to like learn from them, from people that know more than I do and have
Yeah.
been around the block a bit.
Yeah.
And then also like hopefully positively impact something
See,
around me.
it's fun. This is exactly what I've been hoping. Is like, I really think that if I got involved in a board, so. To preface, I'm sorry. This is just unmedicated ADHD.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
it's what they've expected it.
Yeah. To preface, like, they basically said to me, because I was like, well, like, I'm just a plumber. Like, I do plumbing and HVAC, and I bartend at night.
Yeah.
And they're like,
So you're working class.
this person was like, yeah, that's actually really positive because most people that are in your walk of life, let's say, don't participate at all in community and volunteering, especially with political parties. So then their voices, they go fully unrepresented in these meetings, especially with boards and committees making decisions on things like housing development, low-income housing development, and like progression with homelessness and trying to aid in homelessness. They're like, those people go unheard.
Yeah, because they're too busy.
Because they're too busy, because the only people that have time are like lawyers and doctors, so it's a very biased opinion. They're like,
Older people as well.
yeah, and they're like, so it's actually, yeah, they said it's actually really invited to have a young person who works like a trade come and sit on a board like that because it's a fresh take that they don't have. They otherwise have no access to. And when these people are in that circle of like that, whatever that tier of people within our city, they only associate with all those people. So that's the only influence they ever get. So they don't have the voice from those other people. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I really think that I can positively, I'm glad you're saying this. I think we can positively affect change in the city.
Yeah.
I care about what happens in
And
my
then
community.
I can't wait to like start pulling power plays within the party.
Yeah.
And rise them up the ranks.
Okay.
And one
yeah.
day lead the country.
Yeah.
That's
I like it. I think you should.
I watched a video on how Xi Jinping rose to power in China, and it just really gassed me up. I was like, I could do that. I could be that guy. Just fill the cabinet with all my boys that always vote with me under threat of death.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'd
fucking
be like perfect.
great time. And I'll just become, and then I'll become incredibly politically paranoid because the second I get voted out, I'm going to jail.
Yep.
And I'll do anything to keep my power. It's gonna be great.
It's actually like, I really think it's positive. I also, I've been thinking about it for about a year now, like getting more involved, because I realized actually how uninformed local politicians are in a lot of aspects of,
What do you mean?
Of policy. Okay, for instance, so I went to the Earth Day thing.
Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I talked to every political representative there. None of them had what I would have considered to be a good grasp on conservation. None.
Yeah.
Not one.
Well, they
didn't even know where the budget came from.
They're like the MPs.
The MPs and
then
stuff.
the people that were running for MP?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like city councilors, like ward councilors and stuff, ward representatives.
Yeah.
I'm not joking when I say to you, I don't think any of them even knew where the budget came from. Because I said, what are your views on hunting and fishing? And they said, well, we should stop those because then there would be more animals. And I was like, you have zero understanding of how this works.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to say that has got to be the most naive opinion you could possibly have.
I mean, I kind of get the whole, like, you can't be an expert on everything, but, like, brush up if you're going...
Brush up, man. At least know where, like, how does conservation work within the city? Oh, the entirety of its budget comes from hunting and fishing, licensing, tags, and fees, aside from, like, 8%? Mm-hmm. Like, really? You don't know that?
Yeah.
You're going to be
I
like,
think
yeah...
most people don't know that.
It's like, oh, yeah, we're just going to stop hunting and fishing so there's more animals. Like... Okay, are you aware that the city actually contracts people to trap? Like old school trapping, like fur trapping? They contract people to do that in the city.
I be fur trapping.
You what?
I be fur trapping. Hunting beef.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Poontang.
But it's like, they didn't know. They didn't know. I said, what do you think happens with the deer and like the Sifton Bog? That's a conservation area within the city. And they're like, well, like that population controls itself. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. They're deer. They're deer. They don't control themselves at all. And there's no predators. Yeah, there's no predators. So you have to deal with them. It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know. I was like, you know that there's like, every year we give a certain group of hunters, they get tags and they close the bog for like 4 days and they have to kill like a certain number of deer per hunter, and they go in with bows. They bow hunt deer.
That's probably a wild time in there.
Dude, I bet you it's crazy. That's probably a crazy
Just like
time.
35 hunters shows up and it's like Vietnam.
No. It's like 4 hunters.
Oh, okay.
It's only like 4
it's
guys.
like Predator.
Yeah.
They like drop into the bog.
They literally go in, and it's guys who have like a really good record with the city. But these guys also do a lot of stuff with like kids and stuff for conservation, educating. The one guy I know that does it, I think I can say, my buddy Sean's dad. Mm-hmm. He also goes out and does like all sorts of conservation efforts where he's like teaching kids, goes out to the like native reserves, does like educational stuff with them for like conservation and like informative things for kids, trying to teach them so that we're raising a new generation that has an appreciation and understanding for nature. It's really positive. He also is like a trapper for the city, so when they have issues with like say one park, they'll be like, we have 30 beaver in this park and they're actually at risk to like small dogs and stuff.
Wait, beavers are a risk to dogs?
Dude, beavers will bite you. They hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but on land, how fast can they move?
Fast enough.
Really?
They'll grab you, yeah.
Oh, I thought they'd kind of be like bumbly on the land.
They
but
are
like in the water, they're like, I know they're quick.
Yeah, they're quick in the water. They are kind of bumbly. The issue is like when dogs go down, like they have huge teeth, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty dexterous. They'll grab a dog and kill it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
They don't eat it.
No. It's just defense.
Man, I swear to God, I think we've talked about this before. Beavers are the most autistic animals.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they build dams because they can't stand the sound of running water.
Yeah,
right?
they've proved it because they've taken Bluetooth speakers and had them like wired up in the middle
That's so funny.
in the middle of the forest, like away from the water, and played the sound of running water just continuously, and beavers will go and cover it in like 6 feet of mud and fucking sticks to get rid of the sound.
So if you ever look into torture a beaver,
Just put a speaker
just like
with
white
running
room
water.
with nothing in it, and the speaker
Yeah.
playing running water, it'd go crazy.
It'd go nuts. Yeah. It'd go insane.
That's so funny.
Like,
And
how
beavers are
crazy
so
is that?
Fucked for
They're
making.
so fucked, man. They work constantly.
Yeah.
That's why, like, so in the Canadian Armed Forces, a lot of the badges, you know how you have like a trade badge?
Yeah.
It's like the badge for whatever job you do. All the engineer badges, anyone who's involved in like some form of like, mine was like weapons engineering technician, any of those engineering ones,
Yeah.
they all have a beaver in the logo. And I remember asking this old Quebecois master corporal, I was like, why the beaver? And he goes, because beavers are fucking hard workers. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Those beavers,
They're fucking hard workers.
That's funny. That really projects Canada on a world stage,
Yeah.
eh? It's like, oh, here come the Canadian engineers, and it's a bunch of Quebecois dudes with beaver
beavers.
patches, looking like Boy Scouts. We must build this dam.
We got to build the dam.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah, it's really cool though. I'm excited.
Yeah,
What are
volunteers.
you gonna get into? Like, what's your focus?
I don't know. I've just started. Like, I've just contacted and reached out. We're going to have a meeting with the party.
Okay, cool.
And then, yeah, find out. Probably help organize things with.
Is it a local party? You're going like one of the parties?
It's a national party, but
Okay, one
there's
of
a
the national
local.
parties.
There's a local part of it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
really
help,
cool.
Probably help with organizing, probably community events and stuff like that.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an offer that I got that I'll talk to you about later. But,
Okay.
yeah. Remind me actually before I leave.
Okay, an offer you can't refuse.
It's a really cool offer that I think would be cool for Regional Dead as a media company.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How are we gonna spin this volunteering for the community to our own goals?
Dude, that's life.
It's called networking.
It's called networking. But I think, like, okay, I'm curious. My biggest focuses would be like homelessness and housing in turn, right? Like,
I think housing
and
is
infrastructure
pretty much
development.
the biggest. It might not be the biggest problem, but it's the most in your face.
Yeah, it is. And then the other one that I care about is conservation. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a nut bar for conservation.
Yeah.
What are your things?
Probably housing and inequality, I would say.
Inequality is very fair. You know, something that's bothered me for a long time, and I do feel for you with this. North America in general, I hate the narrative surrounding the culinary trade. It's the most underappreciated trade in North America. Absolutely. It's arguably the hardest trade. I can teach a monkey to be a red seal plumber.
Okay.
You can teach a fucking monkey to be like red seal basic Sparky. I'm not, to be clear before people freak out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they would be a good plumber. I'm not saying they would be a good electrician.
Yeah.
But can you get them to pass and be technically a fully licensed plumber? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I know fully licensed plumbers are fucking idiots.
Yep.
But culinary, if someone doesn't understand it in depth, they won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
You need to understand it's an art. It's not just a job. It's not just a trade in the same way. Like, it's still classified as a trade, but it's an art. And people, I think, go out and go get food, and they want the most amount of food for the cheapest.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no appreciation for the art that's going into. There's a lot of passion that goes into that creation process.
Yeah, totally. And that's about your your client base too.
Yeah.
It, like, depends on what kind of client base you get. The cheapest, largest amount of food people are always going to be there.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to build up a reputation
For
of eating here isn't
creation.
just a place to grab a bite before you go somewhere.
Yeah.
This is coming here should be the biggest part of your night.
Yeah, this is an experience.
This is the experience part of it. So
Yeah.
that's also, like, thank you, and I appreciate what you say. Cooks in conversation and chefs online need to get off their own dicks a little bit here. It's a hard trade, and it's an art, and it takes a lot of talent, and it takes a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
Time of your day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're always working and shit.
life. I actually think your life, too.
Yeah,
like,
of your life.
Plumbers, because it directly applies to me. Plumbers go home and 90% of them go home and don't think about plumbing.
Yeah.
Chefs go home and think about more stuff to do with food.
Yeah. Everyone is sick and tired of you talking about how important you are.
Yes, that's very, very true.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's like fucking musicians.
The musician
Chefs are
thing?
like musicians that way, in that to them they have the most important job in the world, and everyone's got to hear about
I'm
it.
bringing the music. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yes, I know. I love musicians.
I know. I do agree with that. It's like, well, food. Everyone needs food. Yeah, like, they do, but people also are willing to eat shit. And, like, there's lots of people who just eat for sustenance. Look at all the gym bros that eat, like, plain rice, broccoli,
and I
chicken
like the
breast.
show, but The Bear has done irreparable damage to this industry. It's so much.
It's horrendous. It's the same thing that, like, Bourdain talks about in Kitchen Confidential, being like, well, as soon as you start having celebrity chefs, it's like, that's not what it's like at all.
No.
Like, I used to love... One of my favorite, when I was on the line, one of my favorite things was when you would get a kid in who, like, had only watched those shows, and he went to culinary school, and he's doing all this cool shit.
This is like his first job straight
He's
up.
never fucking worked in a kitchen. He comes in and he's like, who are these monsters? These people are monsters. And you're like, yo, that is the love.
Yeah.
I will spend the right... If culinary paid more, I would never have left.
Yeah.
I would never leave.
It pays like shit.
It pays like shit, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's something you can't replace.
Yeah.
It is an intangible sense of fulfillment and purpose in life.
Yeah.
And it's the most
those-
exciting job.
It is. And when it goes really well, when
Oh,
you're really busy,
there's
and
nothing like it.
Like, service is crushed.
Dude, it's a high.
It
It's
is
a
a
high
high.
like you've never felt.
Because you're problem solving on one, such a, like, the wide scale of, like, I need to feed X amount of people in X time, and everyone has to be happy, and you got to do it right.
Yeah.
But then you're constantly problem solving on a small scale, like 4 at a time for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
When it goes super well.
When it goes so well, and you crush, and you get a good team,
when
there's
you
nothing
crush
like
it and the whole team's good, and you at the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, we're done.
and you get that, like, beer in a liter container with a cigarette outside.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
There's nothing like it.
There's nothing
that,
like it.
There's no drugs.
I chase that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You chase it.
Yeah.
That's what keeps people in it.
Well, yeah, you'll see it on lines when it's slow.
Yeah.
Everyone is like...
wants it. You
Everyone's
want it.
like uncomfortable because you want to be fucking going.
People don't understand this, that like it's like, well, how do you work an 8-hour shift with no break, or like a 6-hour rush?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got like a good heavy rush in the middle of summer. It's like 6 hours, no break. You're going.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going top speed. And they're like, why would you do that? It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. Like a crackhead, I love it. You know, like I fiend it.
Yeah.
There's
When you
nothing like getting crushed for 6
you look
hours.
up and like 3 hours has disappeared and you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, and you're just getting annihilated.
Yeah.
You're
But that being
moving
said-
as fast as you can, nonstop, till it's done.
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight. It feels like it's never gonna end, and you're like,
That's a cool part about it too, is it's not like other jobs where you have a time of the day where you're done.
no, it's done when the business
It's
is
done when it's done.
Yeah.
Right? There's like an end point. There is
Yeah.
going to be a last order.
Yeah, but
Right.
you don't know when that is.
You don't know when that is. That could be 9 o'clock. That could be like 11.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Because that's
so-
the thing. The restaurant, especially like for us,
Yeah.
we have the bar and the restaurant. The restaurant could close and the bar could just be nothing but food from 9 to 11:30.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't eat, especially patio. You're like, oh, I can't even close.
Yeah, because I'm
Like,
too busy.
I'm too busy. What do you do?
But I think that's part of where the satisfaction comes from as well, where it's like, I've worked jobs with end times, and if I don't really have anything to do in the last hour, I'm just kind of sat there. Like,
Yeah, it's brutal.
But like, in my job, I work till it's done, and then I leave.
Yeah.
So it's like there's an end point. There was no fucking about at the end of my day.
Yeah, I will say I don't get the same rush from front of house. I don't
it's
like
not
it.
even close.
It's not even close. Even when you're getting real crush on front of house, it's not the same.
Well, because you don't get to show that you're in it. You have to keep this face up the whole time, and you have to be a professional, and you have to be cool, and you can never let anyone know that you're busy. Because the second that a table thinks you're busy, they're going to subconsciously be like, well, the food is taking a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas if you're calm and you're collected and you're in a good mood,
People don't know.
People don't know that you're actually like
Getting crushed.
you've lost it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but
whereas
in the
kitchen,
back, it's very apparent that you're busy.
And you can be going hard, and you got your like rag that you use, and then you have your other rag that's just for sweat.
Yeah, your sweat rag.
Yeah.
Everyone's mouth breathing because
Yeah.
the room is so humid that you can't breathe through your nose because it's so thick and hot.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
I love it. I love it, dude. It like gives me tingles thinking about it.
you've got 25 seconds before you can plate something, and you don't have anything to do for that 25
Yeah.
seconds. So you run to your fridge and grab your water bottle.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah, glug, 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 glug. And then you look over and you see like one of the inserts in your table's like kind of empty. You're like, I gotta stop that now. This is my only shot.
This is my only shot.
Yeah.
I'm running downstairs, skipping stairs.
Yeah, flying downstairs. Like, screw safety. I've gone down like barely touching a stair.
Oh, yeah. Just jump and hold railings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And the people are the best in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
It's the best people.
Cooks,
it's also
cooks are
the
my
worst.
favorite. It can
That's
be the worst.
That's the flip side of this. If a service
can be the
goes
worst.
bad, it makes you want to shoot yourself. It's so unbearable when a shift goes poorly. That is like, that'll make you want to die.
I will say the one thing that I really don't like about front of house, in contrast, when shit hits the fan in the kitchen, you can, like I always did at least, my thing was, when shit hits the fan, it gets unbearably bad, and you're like, I can't even, I'm just getting fucked, and I can't even catch up. You just put your head down and go and work.
Yeah, just one thing at a time, yeah.
One thing at a time, go. And you'll slowly feel yourself start to pull out of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, gonna be okay. Front of house, when shit hits the fan, you're fucked. And you look like a loser, and everyone thinks you're a loser.
Because you can't just do it faster.
You can't do anything faster. You're just screwed, and you're at the mercy of all these little piglets trying to feed. You know?
Yeah, I was talking about that. It's like so many cooks and people in the restaurant picture the guests as like just piggies at the trough.
They're fucking swine at the trough. That's all
they
it
are.
is.
You're just throwing more slop into the trough.
I love it. People,
Especially when you get someone comes back, oh, they didn't like the mashed potatoes. They said they were too buttery. And you just imagine a bunch of pigs like, it's like, oh, they want another order of pita bread. And you're like, yeah, you do.
You'll see like career servers, like long-term servers. They don't even see them as people. They're just... They come in and they're just fucking dollar signs. All they see is how much cash can I milk out of you?
Yeah.
How high can I get the tip
some
tonight?
Career servers. There are some career servers that are actually in it because they love it.
They love it. Yeah. There's two very distinct different types.
Yeah.
There's I love my job and I care about the craft, which I love those people.
There is a craft too to front of
There
house.
is a craft to front of house.
Yeah.
And like especially really good bartenders are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they care and you can see that there's care in their work. Mm-hmm. And then there's the ones I'm talking about that are like, you know, career servers. They're like, they've been doing this 20 years and every person that walks in the door, they'll take triple the tables of any other server because they want they want the milk.
Yeah.
You know?
If you ever go to a restaurant and your server is like a thin, graying gay man,
yeah,
but like a very masculine gay man,
yeah,
you're going to get taken care of. That guy knows his shit.
that guy's going to do his shit.
That guy's been doing this forever.
Yeah.
And he's like bounced around. He's probably worked in New York or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, same with you go in and get a bartender, like tall, slim bartender.
Yeah.
You know? Someone who looks like maybe they're, you know, there's like a little duskiness to them. There's a little mystery. Those people, they do their shit
Probably
right.
like killed a man in 85.
Yeah. Well, we're just talking about our friend now.
So yeah,
I'm pretty
You
sure
just
he
talked
killed
to-
someone.
yeah, I lived in Montreal for 7 years.
Had to leave real suddenly.
I had to leave real suddenly. I didn't live in an apartment. I squatted above a convenience store.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was fine. There was like 8 of us up
It was
there.
a good time, yeah.
Yeah, I worked 16-hour days and just, slept on the floor.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I was drunk all the time.
Those servers.
Those guys,
When I was 20, I was drunk all the time.
Yeah, I was drunk all the time.
I spent 20 to 25 just basically intoxicated.
Yeah. I lived in someplace like fucking Colombia for a bit.
Yeah. It's like, what'd you do down there? Bartended.
Oh, yeah,
Do you
or
speak
nothing.
Spanish? And they're like, nope.
And they're like, "What'd you do down there?" Like, nothing really.
What?
You're like, how did you survive? I don't know, just did. But
Yeah,
you were
like
just
what?
like kind of homeless in Colombia for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scraped up enough money for a flight back, and yeah.
Yeah, got out of there. I was good. It's like, what?
Gone are the days of doing that.
You can't anymore.
You can't do that
so many
anymore.
visas and shit.
So many visas. Everything's so expensive.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal.
It's like I can't just go down to like Fiji for a year
And see how it goes.
and just see how it like just risk that. Like,
Yeah, I know.
It would take me a year to get everything in place to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm already invested
Yeah.
in my success. I can't just like fucking go down there and vibe.
I'll see
I'll
what
figure
happens.
something out, and then like 6 months later, I'm just like
No, there's
doing
no
roofs
way. There's no way.
in Fiji. There's no way. There's no way you
No,
can do that.
no, you can't do that anymore. That's not life anymore.
I wish it was.
Ah, me too. It'd be wonderful.
So yeah, I spent 2 years in Pakistan,
Yeah.
just driving a rickshaw.
Pakistan's beautiful.
Some of it is.
Some of it is absolutely beautiful. Some of it is actually just controlled by the Taliban and it's war torn. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Pakistan.
Pakistan as a country is very, very pretty place.
Yeah. There's is it Pakistan or is it Bangladesh that has the highest like population density? Because some of the cities over there are fucked.
It's probably Bangladesh.
Yeah. Some of the cities there are like insane. There are so many people living so close to each
Yeah,
other.
where they're literally like shoulder to shoulder.
They're like
day and
shoulder to
night.
shoulder. Traffic never stops. It's
Yeah.
like rush hour traffic all the
day.
time.
Yeah.
Because if you want to drive from one end of the city to the other, that's like a day trip.
Yeah.
Because the city is so large and so packed, and you just sit there.
You know what's very peculiar that okay, actually, this is something that I wanted to run by you economically that because we don't like to get into politics, like hard politics, but I was thinking about this. Mm-hmm. I think that COVID, the biggest impact that came out of the COVID situation that crippled the housing market across the country for your average person was that you suddenly were, when people were allowed to work from home, it took, if you lived in, say you lived in Toronto, you made proportionally more money living in Toronto working in Toronto because you had to live in Toronto to be there.
So to attract workers, you had to pay them more.
You have to pay them more because it costs more money to live there.
Yeah.
When they said that everyone could work from home, it allowed people to move all over the place. And when
it happened here.
it happened here, and
So
when
many
it
people
did,
from Toronto, yeah.
when it did, people came from went to small towns from these places and were like, "Oh, your house costs $100,000. I live in a shack for $1.2 million. I'm going to just buy mansions and build mansions all over the place." And it decimated the housing market in Canada.
Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Actually, I actually think it was an enormous part of the reason. Even Saskatchewan was getting a massive influx in their housing market from people from Toronto and Vancouver
Who the fuck wants to live in Saskatchewan?
because you could go out there and buy 100 acres with a beautiful house on it for $100,000.
Yeah, that's true.
So they were going out there and being like, I'm going to build a mansion with a play park in my backyard for like $500,000.
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, who cares?
Yeah, I'll just work from home.
Yeah, they're like, I've got $1 million in a mortgage and I can barely afford my mortgage back home. I'm going to go be mortgage free and have my dream house.
Yeah.
And I'll just work from home. I'll build a gigantic house and have a fucking bomb ass office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever. They didn't care. And it's literally destroyed the housing market in the country.
A lot of corporate landlords, that's a huge problem, where there are people and there are companies that have so much buying power because they own property, right? That gives them leverage to get better loans. Just buying houses, and the more houses you own, the more borrowing power you get. So it's a snowball effect because it became unrealistic for most people to afford a down payment on a house. So they're stuck renting at a rate higher than what a mortgage would be, right?
No, not now. Now it's more expensive. Right now it's more expensive to have a mortgage. I would guarantee.
Well, then how do people rent? How are people landlords then?
Because they've already owned the home. So here's the thing. Let's say, okay, right now, like the average cost has jumped in London.
Yeah.
From what, 200, like let's say the average cost 6 years ago was at just under 500,000.
Yeah.
It's up to like 800,000 or 900,000.
Yeah.
It's come down a little bit, but so you have all these houses. So you want a house, you gotta get in. You used to be able to get houses in London for 150 grand.
Yeah, like
now
a starter home.
To get into London, you're $500,000 minimum. And good luck finding a $500,000 home in the city.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be some shithole. It's gonna be by the airport.
Yeah, like it's literal. Yeah. So anyway, let's say you're gonna go reasonable and get a $700,000 home, which is a home you can find in London.
Yeah.
And you're going to put your 5% down payment, whatever. Yeah. So you have like a $700,000 mortgage, essentially. Yeah. Pretty close. Mm-hmm. You're paying like $3,500 a month in a mortgage payment. Mm-hmm. So to get into it now is way, way more expensive. $3,800 a month, $4,500 a month for some people. It's a lot just for your mortgage, not including any of your bills. Yeah. The difference was all the guys who owned all these properties before and had tons of equity in them, they don't have big-ass mortgage payments.
That's true,
because they own so much equity in the home. So then they can rent them out knowing that say they rented it out for $800 a couple years ago. I don't need to rent it out for $3,000. I can rent it out for $1,800, jack up my price $1,000 on the unit. Mm-hmm. I'm only going to make $1,000 more gravy. That's all they see it as. Like, I'm just making more money. Who fucking cares? Yeah. And at $1,800, you're going to you'll attract someone who will come in and never miss a rent payment.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's the best deal they're going to get.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's crazy. But that's what's happened. So these guys just hold on to them and they're like, well, why would I ever get rid of this? It's just a cash cow. Yeah. I'm never going to sell. Yeah. You know?
So, you have people buying up properties for that.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. Because they're doing that, they acquire tons of wealth and then can afford to go in and put like a 50% down payment on a new home.
Or just buy a home cash.
Or buy it outright. Yeah. Exactly.
People are also the fucking chopping houses up into apartments. Yep. That sucks.
Well, and you're getting we've had this massive influx, and I'll point blame here because it's a huge fucking problem. There's a whole thing that's come out of Brampton and all these lawsuits over it where they're coming in, buying a house. They buy a house, paint the trim black, and then lay down stick flooring and try and sell it for an extra $200,000. It's you've done no actual improvements to the home.
Oh, I hate that look for houses too.
Yeah, it's it's trendy, and so then they convince people to buy it with no conditions. Yeah, an unconditional sale.
Why? What is with this? Why does every house have to look the same now?
Yeah, I know.
It's like cars. Why? I keep seeing old 100-year-old homes. I see them on my walk to work. They're 100 years old, 80 years old. Beautiful houses, nice brick, nice accents. There's a little fucking character to this house, and they all just get painted white with black trim.
Yeah, it's just what's in right now.
I don't get it though, because you can't take that back.
Yeah, I know.
You ripped off woodwork on this house.
I'll be honest, again, caring what happens in my community. The building downtown, it was the Wright Textile Mill, WRIGHT.
Oh, lithography?
Yeah, lithography, yeah. Yeah. So
The red?
They painted the whole building red.
Yeah, why?
And they took down the clock that used to hang out front.
Yeah.
It had a massive clock. And I'm like, dude, that's like, was one of my favorite.
I can't believe they did that because it's a heritage building.
That actually grinds my gears for real.
Yeah, that one is my biggest example. That's Fari,
yeah, because it was Fari.
Yeah.
Because I love that building. It's one of my favorite buildings in the city. And they've destroyed the building.
Yeah.
Like, it's ugly. It fucking looks like some weird, creepy murder house now.
Yeah.
It's like it was a beautiful building.
Yeah.
Yeah, you painted the whole thing red. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
I don't get it.
It kills me, though, because he butters up counselors and stuff by, like, I think he contributes to, like, Sorry and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, different little things that he'll help contribute to. Sorry's the one where they, like, developmentally challenged, like, people with issues. Stuff going on, right? They go out and it's like therapy through riding horseback, PTSD, anxiety, that kind of thing.
Through riding horses?
Yeah, and they have like a whole thing set up for them to ride horseback, and like it helps with therapy. Yeah, I know. Let's not rip on it.
I can't. But like,
I know.
I'm not going to make a joke.
It does work, though. It does work
for a little bit.
Picture it for a little bit. But it does. They do have a really high efficacy rate.
Okay. Fine. Fair enough.
Which another thing I want to shit on real quick.
Therapy.
No.
It's all a
safe
racket.
injection sites. Safe injection sites in Vancouver and London have been test pilots, and it is important to provide safe injection sites. I believe that. I believe it's important to provide safe injection sites. Don't dump the entire budget into that because it's been years. You've done nothing but exacerbate a homeless problem. And like safe supply, safe injection. It's a safe supply is the big one.
Yes.
Where they're able to supply them with narcotics.
Yes.
Okay. They're like, well, it's working. It's working. It's working for what?
Well, they're not dying as much.
They're not dying. But your rehabilitation rate literally is immeasurable because it's non-existent.
Well, yeah.
So then, in my mind, if your goal was to keep drug addicts from dying, sure, it's a good goal. Do I think it should be your main focus? Do I think it should be the only massive government program that we're juicing to try and help the homelessness population or a homelessness problem? Like, no. If that's your mission statement as we're trying to keep drug addicts from dying, that's not the problem. The problem is
that they're addicted to drugs.
Is that they're addicted to drugs.
I know.
You should be focusing on rehabilitation.
Yeah, being addicted to drugs is like almost a 1-to-1 like correlation with poverty.
Yeah.
Right? Especially the types of drugs that are happening there.
I know.
Rich people abuse drugs too, obviously.
Yeah.
But they don't end up ruining their life because they have like stability and money.
Obama said in an interview that once you pass a certain level, just quick, he said in an interview that this, once you pass a certain level of qualification, there is a ceiling through which you cannot fall. Meaning no matter how much you fuck up your life, you'll never be homeless because you're just too qualified. Somebody will hire you for a good wage that you're okay.
You'll be able to figure it out.
No matter what, you're okay.
But yeah, it's like if you actually want to tackle this, you have to go like further in eliminating poverty. But they can't really do that, or they obviously don't want to.
Yeah,
right. Because if like no one ever woke up at like 18 or earlier and was like, I'm going to be a homeless drug addict. That's what I want to do.
No, nobody.
No one ever says that.
No.
Right? It's an unfortunate circumstance that happens because you're failed. Like, the system has failed you.
Yeah.
Right?
To be clear, there is. I know that the Liberal Party put out some ads talking about it because I've heard them on the radio and saw them on TV.
Yeah.
Saying there's over there's over 500,000 homeless people in Canada. I want everyone who's listening to the podcast to know that there is now over 3 million homeless people in a country of only, 38 million?
Yeah, 30, 40 million, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an enormous percentage of our population. That is not people fucking up. The system has failed them. They have not failed.
And you, as a Canadian, should not be okay with that's how we treat the bottom 10%.
Do not penalize these people for this. You should be penalizing your government for how they've handled this problem.
Yeah, for letting this happen.
This is a systemic issue that the government has failed to provide their citizens.
My conspiracy with it is that it keeps people working. Because
like out of fear, you mean?
Out of fear of ending up like that.
Yeah.
Right? You need an example of like extreme poverty near you, in your face, where like doesn't matter that your buying power is going down and your job fucking sucks. And like life is slowly getting worse.
Work harder, you'll be like
Work
that.
harder or you're going to end up like that. And they like need it to be in your face.
You know what's funny is that so this is a thing that's pretty well known, that this is like a Chinese tactic.
Yeah?
The Chinese Communist Party openly talks about that. This is a thing they do. That they use extreme examples of poverty as fear-mongering to encourage work, to keep people from falling into that.
It's a thing they do, especially because to them the poverty's in the rural areas.
Yeah.
They send wealthy people from the cities to go work on farms.
Yeah, to see how bad it could be.
To be like, you know what, like your cushy job in the city ain't that fucking bad.
So this is what kills me is, I'm not going to say a name, but a certain prime minister has repeatedly said how much admiration he has for how the Chinese Communist Party has handled their socioeconomic system. And I'm like, really? The Chinese Communist Party's...
I mean, you do kind of have to hand it to them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. They're productive.
They industrialized very, very quickly.
Yeah, they do.
And they're becoming a world superpower.
Fair enough. But guess what? Us making a bunch of homeless people is not... That's not Canadian.
I don't think we're making homeless people on purpose. I think we're
it's a systemic failure.
It to happen.
Yeah, it's a systemic failure.
There's a certain amount of people that are okay with homelessness happening.
Yeah.
There's also a certain subset of like the voting public that is totally fine with homelessness because they're wealthy enough that they don't live near homeless people. So they never see them. And if they do, they're disgusted by them.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I know. It's different. We live downtown. We see it every day.
We see it every day. But there's a lot of Canadians that like don't see homeless people as people and are like totally fine if they all just die.
Yeah.
And we'll say that to you as well.
It's crazy because I've met, really sad, I met a young man. He was probably, I would say he's got to be 19. And I talked to him about it the one day because he was like with me as an apprentice. And he was like, well, you know, like they just need to get jobs. I was like, that's not how it works. Like the complete lack of understanding.
Yeah,
and
just get a job.
Just get a job. And it's like, do you understand that once you don't have a home, you can't get a check mailed to you? Anything.
You don't have a mailing address.
You can't even get ID. If they lose their ID, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Canadian government has no recovery program for homeless people without ID? So if they lose their ID, there is nothing, the steps, the hoops you have to jump through and the bureaucratic bullshit.
Which is super easy when you're homeless.
When you're fucking homeless and you get robbed all the time. It's brutal. Like, that's actually mind-boggling.
Yeah, you can't get a check mailed to you. You can't get ID. It's really hard to show up to job interviews presentable. Being homeless.
Yeah.
Right? So it isn't just like your teenage kid tell them to go get a job.
It's not the same.
It's not like that.
No. Yeah, and they don't understand this at all.
They don't understand it at all. And also, like, most of the time, if you've been homeless long enough, you lose the ability to just have that job, right?
Yeah.
It's super easy for you to say who sleeps in a comfortable bed every night and like gets 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, this is the other thing is people go, well, why do they use meth? Well, because a lot of people are on the street and are scared of sleeping because bad things happen to them when they fall asleep. Especially women.
Especially homeless women, yeah.
It's a huge issue. And then it's like, well, look at how crazy they all are. Okay, well, first of all, we already knew. We've known for 40 years that homelessness is directly tied to mental illness.
Yep.
So that's just across the board. Then let's take what's probably like a relatively treatable and manageable a relatively manageable mental illness, and then deprive them of sleep on a regular basis for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
You can take
them
someone
hyped
who's
up on amphetamines.
You can take someone who's completely sane and normal, deprive them of sleep for an extended period of time, and you will drive them insane.
Yeah.
Make them sleepless
Most
for
people
days, and
don't
you'll
realize
really drive them
like
insane.
how close you actually are to the random crazy homeless
you go
person
2
that you
days
see.
without sleep, you will act like a fucking
Don't eat
lunatic.
for 3 days.
Yeah, you'll go nuts.
You'll go actually crazy.
Yeah, and people don't understand that at all.
And you are like 3 missed paychecks away.
Yeah, that's the thing. People who sit on their high horse, like, really, how far are you from homelessness?
Yeah, but everyone always sees themselves closer to millionaires than...
It's not. We're
It's not
miles away from them.
We're miles away from $1 million in
Yeah.
the bank. You are like a month away from homelessness.
Yeah. These people are your brethren.
Yeah, I know.
They truly are. Like, that's
Yeah.
your brethren.
That's the thing too. And they're also
Billionaires and stuff,
They're not
they
your
don't
brethren.
care. They don't care about you. They're not going to help you. Nobody gives a shit.
No. The homeless people are your countrymen. They
Yeah.
are your brethren. They are They are very close to the same class as you.
Yeah.
So maybe like don't look down your nose at them.
Yeah, have some compassion.
Have some compassion.
Because it's the same even for people, even if you own a house and you're living in some suburb, some cookie cutter suburb,
Yeah.
you're still miles closer to homelessness than you are to the multimillionaire lifestyle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're the bottom tier. You're not aware because you're comfortable, but you're actually the bottom tier of society.
That you're living on debt.
Yeah. People don't understand that.
That you're that close. Well, I think we should end on something a little lighter. This is a very heavy episode.
It's been a good episode. I think it's
been a
informative.
good episode. I think we talked some important topics. We were talking earlier, speaking of important topics. If there are still any women that listen to this show, and you get your nails done, how do you wipe your ass?
I don't think they do. I think they must scrape a little bit of poo under the nail sometimes accidentally.
Because, I mean, that looks like it would be the perfect tool to get at it.
You think so?
Yeah, probably. But that's nasty as fuck.
Oh, true. Like if it was like a little...
But it's shaped
or you
like...
know when it's a little itchy and you like just gotta give it a little scratch?
Oh my God.
They definitely give it a little scratch.
There is nothing like when you wake up in the morning and you give your butthole a scratch. Oh my God. That'll make your like tongue flutter.
And then you're like, oh, now my fingers are gonna smell.
Yeah. Don't go too deep though.
Yeah, you can't go too deep. No, you got in there? No.
Yeah, that's
brutal.
But like, they look like, I don't know, maybe grow out one nail. And
Have you ever seen them type? You go to like you go to the DMV and they're like,
go to the DMV. Go to Service Ontario to see the slowest people type in the world.
Yeah, there's always one person that's like really, really good, and the rest of them are like.
I know, and it's like I just need to print this for you real quick, and then like I just saw you print for somebody.
Yeah, like you know what changed?
You know how to do this?
Yeah, what changed from 5 minutes ago to now? You know?
Yeah.
Or one thing I don't understand, you go in, it's like 10 a.m. Okay, that Service Ontario is packed, or Service Canada, what either of them?
Yeah,
they're packed.
Yeah,
there's 100 people lined up, and then 4 of the tellers just get up and leave.
Yeah,
and you're like, where are you going? Yeah, you're going to leave us with these 2 guys? The 2 slowest people? Where the fuck are you going? What are you doing? Sit down. Do your job. Get rid of all these people.
I wonder if it's the same thing that happens at the bank. Because you very rarely have to go in the bank these days.
Yeah, no, it's so rare.
Right? It's so rare. You can deposit checks on your phone.
Yeah.
You can do all your shit on your phone.
Yeah.
But old people fucking love the bank.
Love going
They
in.
fucking...
And they know the tellers.
Yeah, and it's like part of their
Hey,
errands.
Jim, how are you today?
But like, I one time, before work, had to deposit cash in my bank, and I sold my car, so it was too much money. I didn't want to put it in an ATM.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't feel right about it. If something fucked up,
fair enough. Yeah.
I wanted to go to a teller. I go in there, it's like 9 a.m. on a weekday, and it is a fucking zoo in the bank. And it's just old people, like, standing there, chewing on nothing, going up to the teller and being like, I want to move $20 from my checking statement.
I know! Oh my God!
You could have done that on your... You could have done that on the phone.
You could have done it at the fucking ATM, dude.
That's right there.
Yeah, the amount of times I've been in, and they go in, it's like, what are you doing? What do you like? What kind of budgeting strategy is this?
Yeah.
They go in at fucking 8 a.m. on a Wednesday and they're like, I'll take a $27 today. And it's like, what?
They
What
go to the bank
fuck are you-
every day for their spending
Yeah,
money.
like, well, that's your money for the day? Like, that's just fucking mind-bogglingly insane.
Yeah. It's I don't know. That's just like,
Is that a thing
it's
that
just 'cause you
like,
hate your
old
wife.
people do?
like you wake up at 8 a.m. and your wife's laying there. You're like, I'm going to the fucking bank.
Going to that bank.
I'm going
to go talk to the hot Latina lady at the BMO.
and then you get Jim.
Yeah.
You get Jim behind the counter. What do I have in my
Yeah. So some old white dude like, when did all these Asian people get here? We're the sexy little Latina lady.
breathing all this white air?
Like fucking some racist old asshole.
I love that so much because 90% of those guys, when they're doing like mild racism, stuff like that, and they get shut down, they get like a little defensive. Like, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Back
I'm just joking around.
10 years ago, we didn't even worry about this. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, because you guys were more racist.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fucking, just making a joke. Like, you called the teller a beaner. That's not a joke, dude.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. She's like 22 and really nice and trying to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything else I can do for you today? Don't look at me with no brown eyes.
So true.
Just mad. I love that one when it's just mad that minorities exist.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not like nothing that the minority does stereotypically, nothing like that. Like guys walking down the street and they see a girl in a hijab.
Can't even see her hair.
Yeah, but
Like, yeah, it's the fucking cultural thing, dude. It doesn't affect your life
why do you
at
want to
all.
see her hair?
Yeah, why? What are you sniffing her hair, you fucking weirdo?
It's the same kind of guy that like goes to servers and goes, smiling's free.
Yeah. Oh, I had an old lady say that to me one day. I was literally listening. Like, I walked up smiling.
Yeah.
And then they started talking and like explaining a bunch of stuff with their dietary restrictions. So I was just like went straight face and just like listened and focused on what they were saying. And she goes, hey, yeah, and stops it. And I was like, look over. I'm like, yes. And she's like, you should smile. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, you should smile. I was like, I was smiling. She's like, well, then you went straight faced. Like, yeah, because I was listening and focusing. And she's like, well, you should still smile. And I looked at her, I said, yeah, I have debilitating ADHD and it's really hard to focus. So, like, I'm just trying to do this one thing right now. I'll smile after I know that I'm not going to kill you. How about that? You just listed 50 fucking food allergies. Like, I don't give a fuck about
You didn't even
smiles
show it to
right
me,
now.
just verbally.
Yeah, like,
I was at the grocery store one time. I'm waiting in line, and the grocery store just put in like self-checkout.
yeah.
And some guy like goes around the line and goes to self-checkout. I am not a fan of self-checkout.
I hate it.
Whatever, I hate it.
I
Whatever.
steal stuff all the time as a small protest.
Yeah, but this guy looks at me and goes, "You fucking believe that?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Using the self-checkout, every time that beep goes, that's another job gone." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Oh my god.
And it sucks. Like, I agree with him on principle that it sucks.
Yeah.
I don't use self-checkout
But you're
because
like, I'm not going to agree. You don't want to give him the
I
satisfaction.
don't want to give him the satisfaction because he's being such a smug bitch about it. And then we get closer to the girl in the cash, and I think she's like disabled or something, like maybe mildly, but she's sitting in a stool at the cash register. And he's like, and here we go. Like, to me, he's like looking at me and like, oh, here we go.
And it's like, we're not buddies.
He's like, no, don't make it look like I'm with you because you're a dick.
not doing this.
Let the girl sit down.
Yeah, I've never understood, why do they have to stand?
Why do they have to stand?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
It's like does she scan the groceries faster when she's uncomfortable?
No.
No.
Like, yeah, I could walk in there and they could be in a fucking lazy boy. If it comes over to their lap and they scan my shit, I really don't care.
Yeah, fucking whatever.
Do whatever you want.
I would want to sit down.
Yeah.
Standing there sounds like it sucks.
Yeah.
They have to invent whole types of mats.
Yeah, because it's so bad for you.
Because it's so bad for your knees. And this girl, like, clearly one of her legs wasn't right. You know? So you want her to, you want her leaning on, like, a 20-degree angle?
All day.
Just for you?
Fucking that leg up.
Just fucking that leg up?
Yeah.
For, like, making her retirement age 40? Just because you're so put off by a woman sitting down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, guys like that just drive me nuts too, because that's when you're like, what happened in the workforce.
Yeah, fucking kids these days, they don't want to work.
Yeah, kids these days don't want to work. Kids these days work harder than you ever did, you old son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Baby boomers who got everything like handed to them. The best economy the world's ever seen.
The fucking strongest economy North America's ever had. And you have the audacity to tell me, well, just save up and buy a house. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Your fucking yearly wage was the cost of one home.
Yeah.
Like, get fucked, asshole. Like,
that's my favorite. Well, like, if you're trying to find a job, what you got to do is just pound the pavement. Yeah. You're going to want to knock on doors.
That's not how it works anymore.
Ask to meet the manager and shake his hand firm.
Yeah. People are busy. They don't have time for that shit anymore.
Shake his hand firmly and say, I'm a hard worker and I'm loyal.
Yeah.
And they'll hire you every time.
No. It's not true.
No, that doesn't work. That worked for you because you lived in a town that had like 10,000 unemployed people and a Ford plant hiring 40,000 people.
Yeah.
That's why it worked for you.
Yeah, when you made $80,000 a year back in the day and a house cost $20,000.
Yeah, you bought a car for the equivalent of like $80 now.
Now I'm lucky to clear $60,000 in a year, and a house costs $1 million. So do the fucking math, jackass.
We're just not trying hard enough.
Yeah,
we're just lazy with our lattes and our vape pens.
Yeah, you're right. My fucking 70-hour work week is just me being a lazy cocksucker.
Well, if you've gone off your ass and stopped spending $8 on a mocha frappuccino.
Yeah, my one chai latte I get on Sunday mornings.
Just raises my mood.
$6 that keeps me from eating a shotgun every fucking weekend. That's what's sinking me from owning home.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to have a nice coffee made by a girl with too many piercings.
Yeah, I like it. It makes me fucking happy, okay?
I get to talk to somebody before I go slave away on a Sunday.
On day 7 of my work week. Yeah. You fucking
It makes me feel like colors get bright for a second. And then don't worry, it goes right back down to the gray monotony. Yeah. But for a second there, I'm having a real good day. The sun's out and I'm walking with an expensive coffee. Fuck me. My bad.
You know what kills me is like I always hear old guys be like, you're probably smoking too much pot. And I'm like, what? I get high like once a week, maybe twice a week. Yeah. And they're like, well, that's where your money's going. I'm like, you're a booze bag.
Yeah, you're an alcoholic.
You've always been an alcoholic. You've always been an alcoholic. You can afford it because things were more affordable. You know why I smoke weed? Because I can't afford to be hungover the next day because I have to go to work again.
I can't afford to be an alcoholic.
I can't afford to take the hangover day anymore. I have to work all the days.
I'm getting priced out of alcoholism.
Fuck off. $5 gets me stoned enough that I fall asleep and don't hate my life.
And I don't feel my knees anymore.
Yeah, exactly. My knees aren't aching when I lay down.
The bottom of my feet isn't just throbbing at me.
Oh, man. Yeah.
God forbid. Also, this is the guy that when they were our age in the 70s were just smoking pounds of dirt.
Yeah. Pounds. Getting drunk 4 days a week.
Yeah, going to like supper clubs and getting tanked.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Whatever. I'll drive home.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't need to pay for an Uber because gas is 5 cents a liter, and I'll just drive my death machine home, half in the bag.
Yeah, my car that doesn't get miles to the gallon, it gets gallons to the mile. My car is 18 feet long.
I got
8 of that is like trunk.
I got in an argument with my dad one day. He was like, you really need to focus on saving. And I was like, Dad, I literally work 2 jobs. It was like when I was going heavy too when I was doing framing, I was laying bricks during the day. And then I worked 5 nights a week at a restaurant. 5 nights a week at a restaurant. And I was laying brick. I think I was laying brick 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's like, you got to focus on saving. I was like, I work like fucking 85-hour work weeks, bro.
I know. It's funny because the stakes were so low back then that you didn't need any financial literacy.
Yeah.
You just threw some of your money in a savings account and you could retire.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're like, yeah, just put some over there.
I like 30 grand. I'm good.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I know. It's ridiculous. Anyways,
amazing.
take everything you've heard with a dose of reasonable doubt.
Stay reasonable.
Keep doubting, and as always, we love you.
Thank you, folks.
Good night.
Reasonable Doubt Podcast. If you guys like funny, hilarious, goofy, goober, silly boys podcast, that is a good place to find yourself.
That was a good one.